Hello everyone. I am Manasa Kalagad, DSC lead for the year 2020 and 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in the Android Study Jam session 1. This is going to be an introductory session where we'll be going with the flow on what will happen in the overall track of this event. Without further much delay, let's start. Uh, We have Surya here to help us with our Android study jam. Over to you, Surya.
Yeah, thank you, Mansa. Let's begin. So, what are these Android study jams? Okay, let's go over here. Android study jams are Google organized. Uh, sir, sir, there is a resound from you. Please mute. Yeah, thank you. So, Android study jams are organized by Google, and here yeah, uh, we will start learning. We'll peer learn, and okay, there will be a curriculum provided by Google. We will follow them, and there is a guide provided by Google. We will follow them, and we will learn. Uh, and for our community, the new to programming track is most fitted one. So we are going to follow this one. Uh, let's see the prerequisites for this session. So you should have basic computer literacy, basic math skills, computer and headphones, internet connection, if possible Android device and USB cable. Right? Uh, and before we start, uh, take a minute to think about why are you here? What are your goals? Uh, how do you plan to achieve them? Okay, think for a second and let me know in the chat box. Uh, okay. Yeah, meanwhile, let's get started. Uh, take a look at today's schedule. Uh, yes, we start with presentation. We'll continue with beauty of Kotlin. We'll explore Kotlin Koans, run offline in IDE. We will cover developer essentials. We will build Hello World app, and we will see how to get started with Android John's course, and we'll finally uh, see what's in upcoming jams. Right? Uh, let me see if somebody. Okay, no one. And all right. So learning objectives in this session are okay. At first, we'll see what is Android app development, and then yeah, and then we'll see what is Kotlin, why is so powerful, and why it is chosen for Android app development, and then as told, we will cover developer basics and Android basics, and then we are going to build Hello World app and see what is the process and what are the things involved in the process. And then finally, we'll cover how to get started with Android Study Jams course. All right, uh, let's start. Yeah, and yeah, uh, in the Wikipedia itself, if we see Android software development, uh, it is nothing but process by which I mean, yeah, we will create Android apps using SDK provided by Google. Uh, we can write apps in these given languages: Kotlin, Java, C++. Meanwhile, Kotlin is the official language chosen by Google for Android software development. Uh, Even though we can use Go, JavaScript, C, and C++, and assembly for creating Android apps, and uh, it is an restricted API. So yeah, and in Android development, the first term is Android SDK. Android SDK is the library which is given by which is already written by Google. We will implement them. I mean, we will use them to create Android apps. So, and Android SDK platform tools. Uh, you know Android versions, right? Android 9, Android 10, uh, these things. So these are nothing but platforms, and for each platform there are different tools. I mean, the same tools but of different versions. And Android debug bridge is nothing but when we create an app, we need to debug it. I mean, we need to know what is it going behind the scenes, behind the UI, or what is going on in the terminal, in the logs. So with Android debug bridge, we will be able to install the app via terminal, and we will be able to see the logs and etc. And rest of the things we will see in future sessions. And let's go to Kotlin. Yeah, Kotlin is cross-platform statically typed general purpose programming language. Uh, Actually, before knowing Kotlin, we will see what is the default way, what is the way before uh, this Kotlin, how did we create app without Kotlin. So we used we used Java before Kotlin, and Java itself having a few loopholes which are drawbacks for for Java, and it is not quite easy for developers to uh, know what's happening, what's triggering errors, what's uh, making what's creating bugs, and meanwhile it has become a problem for developers to concentrate on concept. I mean, the logic behind the app. So the developers are more concentrating on the errors made by programming language. So, for example, there is a null pointer exception in Java. Uh, we can never know why uh, never a null pointer exception is occurring when it is in runtime. I mean, we can debug, we can use time, and we will get to know where's the error. But it takes time, right? We need not we need not waste time on doing these things. So JetBrains, yeah, JetBrains has developed this Kotlin language to uh, yeah to cover these loopholes in Java. So the Kotlin language has its beauty. It has power of Java, it has simplicity of Python, and flexibility of JavaScript. It comes with simple syntax and dynamic variables with static types. I mean, dynamic variables in the sense we need not statically mention the type. They are dynamically assigned by itself, and they are static types. string templates, extension functions, and rich library are its main advantages. So to start with Kotlin, we'll explore Kotlin Koans. Yeah, let's get started. So you see, Kotlin Koans is series of exercises to get you familiar with Kotlin syntax and some idioms. Okay, so I'll share you this link. Uh, so task for you is you go with this Kotlin Koans link and start practicing. Uh, you read out this and try to uh, go on with the flow. I mean, you uh, you study the syntax and you try to observe what's going on. Uh, that's how you get started. And then uh, if you want to run Kotlin offline, I mean, without using some link or website, there is an IDE provided by JetBrains itself. It is IntelliJ IDEA. So with IntelliJ IDEA, you can run Kotlin and Java offline. Okay. Uh, there is a community version available. Uh, if possible, you download that one. It's about 1 GB. And yeah, I have already downloaded it. So you go with that one. So you select Kotlin and yeah, console application. You select Java version and yeah, you can give some name and continue. And it takes a bit of time to complete this. Yeah, and you start with this main.kt, that is Kotlin file, and when the indexing is done, we can run this application. Okay, that's how we run it offline. Let's go here. Unresolved reference start. Okay. All right. So we'll see how Kotlin is better than Java. Okay. Um, so it became quite bit of time since Kotlin has released. So it is mature enough, and there is a huge community over there, like Stack Overflow and GitHub has already solved so many issues which has come up with Kotlin, and it has simple syntax, so it makes the Android development much easier than before. And you see, it is seamlessly integrated with Android Studio. Mm, and yeah, it is much safer than Java. As I told you about null pointer exception, uh, so with using Kotlin, there will be no more frustration about null pointer exception. We will we will see that the variable we are using is not null, and Kotlin takes care of that. And so there are many companies out there using Kotlin already. So yeah, and as known, Kotlin is multi-platform, and Kotlin can be compiled into Java bytecode and into JavaScript also. So you can make web applications with Kotlin, and you can make Android applications with Kotlin. And there is a thing called Kotlin coroutines. Coroutines. Okay. Uh, so what are coroutines means? They are like threads. So if you have heard about threads, threads are organized by OS. The operating system itself, the operating system itself organize coroutines. Threads. But whereas coroutines, it is organized by programmers. So in the same thread, we can have different coroutines, so that they run uh, on the same thread but asynchronously. So it is a way of non-blocking way of writing code in blocking platform like Java. And so let's build hello world app now. Okay. Yeah, make sure you install Android Studio. The latest version is 4.1.1. That is the stable version. Link to download Android Studio is as I mentioned, Android Studio is the official tool to build Android apps. Yeah, and it is 896 MB for Windows, and that may change depending on platform. And uh, do check out system requirements. 4 GB RAM is minimum and 8 GB is recommended. 2 GB available disk space will be good, and and for my with my personal experience, I think above 5 GB will be good enough. And uh, Android Studio is a bit slower on Windows when compared to Linux. So if you are in Linux, uh, install Android Studio in Linux itself. Don't go with Windows. Yeah, you download this one, and yeah, okay. So hope you have seen this. And to create the Android app, you start by clicking create new project, and yeah, it says activities. So it asks for project template. For now, click empty activity. In the future sessions, you will be going to know about these other things. Okay, and click next. So it asks for name, package name, save location, language, minimum SDK, and use legacy. This thing, yeah. So name, we should assign a name to app we create. So my first app. So, and the package name, it is a unique identifier for an app. So if you go to Play Store, uh, let's go to Play Store. And we search apps. Let's go with this one. Yeah, you see ID equal to com.w3 school.ambu. So this is package name, the unique identifier for this app. So every app will be having a unique identifier. So no two apps will be having same package name. So this one is unique for one app. And yes, you can save app wherever you want. And language, either you can go with Java or Kotlin, but Kotlin is the official way to do app, so we'll go with Kotlin. And our our study jams uh, is about Kotlin coding, right? Yeah, and minimum SDK. You know this. This is the minimum version of Android in which our app can run. So default Android 4.4 W, it is KitKat. The KitKat is depreciated. It means uh, no longer it is advised to make apps for that one. I mean, uh, it is no longer maintained. So it is better to go with the most recent, I mean, oldest and stable one. And it is still maintained. So Android 5.0 will go with that one. So it takes a bit of time to make Android. I mean, it builds, downloads Gradle plugins. It creates a bit of files and layouts, and it takes time, right? Just a minute. So it says build successful, right? When it says build is successful, we are good to go. We can run the application in the emulator. So this thing I have forgot to mention. Android emulator is a virtual device in which uh, we can install apps and we can test them like we do in our real mobile. So it won't be that good if we have to plug in our real mobile and we have to check it every time. So you can install Android emulator that comes with Android Studio itself. So no worries. Mm, and it takes a bit of time to load also. And let's see what are the files created by Android Studio for this project. Yeah, the first one is Android manifest. You see this one, this is an XML file. This contains the record, this is the blueprint of the application. So the manifest says uh, within the application, what are the components? I mean, what are the things in the component in the application? So allow backup true, and these things we will see in future sessions. And from here, we can configure what is the icon, what is the label, what is if it supports right to left or not, and what is the theme we give to this application. And this is the icon which is given by Android Studio for this application. We can change this one, okay? And that is all about manifest.
Um, Surya,
Yeah,
could you please increase your font size? Sorry for the
yeah, sure.
interruption.
Yeah, sure, sure. It's good now.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see this one again. Uh, Manifest is blueprint of the application. Uh, this is where we declare permissions. So if the you have seen applications asking uh, some permissions like uh, allow the application to access camera or application allow the application to access location. Those things we will declare here, like users permission, find location. Yeah, if we declare this one and later on we can call. I mean, we can ask the user to access this permission, to give this permission for our app, so that we can use the this feature within our app to provide the required feature within our app. So yeah, the Android app has successfully run on our emulator. It says my first app and hello world. So if it is not visible for you, let me, yeah. So you see this hello world, right? Uh, let's see, where is it? I mean, where is this hello world? Main part is main activity. Yeah. So uh, in programming languages, you see main functions. Uh, those are the most required. I mean, those are must. So the compiler identifies main function first. So it runs main function and then uh, the following functions called within it. In the same way, for an Android application, the main activities, the default activities compulsory. So let's go back to manifest. You see activity name is main activity. So this is the default activity that is called for first time. And it says set content view activity main. So this is a layout XML file which contains the structure of UI, the structure of UI which we are showing to user. So we can design that here, and within that there is a text view containing the data Android text equal to hello world. So if we change that to hello GVP and we'll run it again. Yeah, so it has changed, right? Uh, okay, you see there are layouts, there are views. We will cover them. Uh, okay, let's see what are the major components of application. Uh, okay, uh, so Android architecture. In the Android architecture, there are four major components. First one is activity. You have seen that activity. Activity is nothing but when app starts, the app must render some UI, right? User interface with which user will interact with application. So the every page, every user interface you see within the apps, that is rendered by activity. And services are components which doesn't require user interface. I mean, uh, when you're using messaging applications or else when you're using music app, so you may do other things while playing music, and the music is still playing backgroundly, right? It shows a notification and it plays background. Uh, that is managed by services. And broadcast, with same music app example, let's say music is playing and the player status is shown in notification as well as in UI, I mean in the app. So both the notification and the app shows the same status. I mean same progress. So they would communicate each other using this broadcast. And the fourth one, content provider. Uh, when you have an application like WhatsApp or gallery, you would provide your own content like images, videos, or else contacts, data. Uh, if your application should provide data securely, you would use content providers. Okay. um, and let's see developer essentials. So many of us doesn't really care about this part actually. Uh, there are things we have to ensure that we should know before we proceed further. And you may see this Android Studio, is this a software? Is this an is it like a notepad or yeah? So to know that, we'll see these developer essentials. The first one is text editor. So what is text editor? You know that it lets us to write text. Okay, notepad. Here we can write some text, any text, and we can save that in any format in which we want it, right? So we can use this tool, the notepad, which is a text editor, to write whatever text we wanted. So this is just a text editor, and I think I don't need to tell much about this. And then the next one is code editor. It lets us write code. So, for example, Visual Studio Code. Right. Let's say we'll write a C program. Whatever, you can write anything. This code editor comes with syntax highlighting and suggestions. Yes, it's not showing now, but the code editors support suggestions, right? And so that is what code editors are. They are designed for writing code. So when we have to use code editor, means when we are having less time, then we will prefer code editor. So what are the features of code editor? It helps us write code efficiently and quickly. Uh, if we write the same thing in Notepad, that won't be any good for us. I mean, it is possible, but it is not good for us. It is like we never know what is the variable at glance. I mean, if we see int a equal to 1, and at somewhere after some hundreds of lines, if I mention a equal to 20, so we see variable has a certain color, red color. So if we know what is the color given by our code editor to our different parts of code, I mean, for variable, the variable types and functions and preprocessor directives, so then it would be easy for us to directly identify what's going on, right? And that won't be good in text editor. So that's what the code editor is good for. And let's move on to terminal. Yeah, okay. Can I know what are all required to maintain, develop, and like database? Yeah, we will come with them in future sessions. Actually, part one is we develop application, and like you have said, databases. There are connectors, there are libraries to access them within our apps. We will come with them. Okay. Yeah, and Okay, I'm continuing. Yeah, sure. And I'm continuing with terminal. So some of you might have ignored about this terminal. You have seen this command prompt. You have seen this PowerShell. Oh, sorry, PowerShell. Yeah. So these are terminals, right? Uh, what are these good for? I mean, why are these? And why should we know as a developer? Yeah, because these terminals are just GUI for which we contact, I mean, we communicate with OS using shell. Shell is it executes commands and uh, does the things we wanted. Uh, if we if you have known about Linux commands, you should have known about Bash script. I mean Bash shell. Bash shell is one shell. It is kind of this is PowerShell. This is command prompt shell, and that is Bash shell. So different shells will have different type of commands, but the thing they do are common. They interact. I mean, they communicate with OS and does the things we wanted. So that is the terminals. Um, yeah, we write few commands, and so yeah, so the OS has created a directory with this command, and we can do different things. I mean, that depends on the path we have. Like you see, Windows has this. Okay, not the good. So within the within the path there will be we can give the path of the programs we wanted to access directly by the terminal, so that we would access them quickly. Like if we see GCC, yeah, it says fatal error, no input files. Actually, this GCC is nothing but gcc.exe. So this gcc.exe is existing in the path given by administrator of this computer. It will be stored in environmental variables, and it will be accessed from there. So that are the basics, uh, and we will go with integrated development environment. That is what IDE is. So you see Android Studio is an IDE. Android Studio. Yeah, it is an IDE. That is specifically for Android development. So what are the features of IDE means? Uh, the features we have with text editor, code editor, terminal. I mean, we can access terminal in IDE. Uh, Actually, the syntax highlighting, code completion, refactoring. Refactoring means if you have to rename a variable, like throughout the code, uh, you have a variable name, full name, and you have to. I mean, you have a need to change that full name to first name. So you cannot go through every file and check for the full name, and I mean full name and change it to first name, right? So with refactoring, that would do. I mean the IDE would automatically. I mean when you refactor that variable, it will be changed toward the project. And version control. Um, if you have known about GitHub, which is a version control project. I mean, that is not project. It is a online service, and Git is the project. So we can access them directly in the IDE itself. Uh, I mean, you need not to go to terminal and write Git commands, and those Git commands would operate on files and it would add to versions, and if you want to revert, and these things you can manage through IDE itself. uh, let's see how we can do that with Android Studio. You see this VCS, right? uh, the Sorry for small font. There would be a VCS in Android Studio. It says enable version control integration. So if you click that, it would ask which kind of version control. So these three are majorly known, and we'll go with Git. If I click OK, the few of the file names are changed to color. I mean, they became red. So if I click commit, if I click every file, and then let's say comment message is first commit, and we shall commit this. So it is performing code analysis. So if there are any errors, if there are any warnings, so it would show us, so that we will solve them and push the best code. I mean, best code available, so that the code will be good in the version control at least. So let's commit again. Let's ignore and directly commit. Okay. Yeah. And now the file colors are changed back to normal. That means the version is now added to Git. Uh, if we see local changes, local history, yeah. Here we see the first version of this code, and let's say if I have changed a few things, let's say I have print hello world, so this would be printed to logs. That thing I have said before in debug bridge, and let's commit again. The second commit, and then let's explore. Yeah, you can see the difference of first version and second version, right? So this thing you can do via terminal, but within IDE it would be user friendly. I mean, developer friendly. We can watch quickly, and we can know things, what things have changed. Uh, yeah, and debugging. So this part we will see. If you have seen this uh, menu, you see a log cat, which shows what is going on behind the scenes, behind this app. Let's rerun this app again, and yeah, it's now working. Uh, and there is a way to create log. Let's say this is the standard way of. I mean, in Android debugging, you use logd. I mean, log is a class which is from Android SDK library, and D is debug. So, I mean, it is a type of input. I mean, output. These are errors, and these are asserts, and black lines are logs. And we can give some tag. Let's say main activity is the tag, and we are logging in on create method. Let's say hello world here, hello world, and let's rerun. So if you see this one, uh, at this time, in this package, this file has logged this one, hello world. So this is good for us when we have to debug complex things. So when we are developing app, and the things went wrong, and we don't know where the things are going wrong, at that time we log I mean we write this line, and let's say we have reached here, and we write to do. So this to do triggers crash, and let's say reached I mean reached here too. So the Android Studio knows that this will never happen. I mean, the code will this part of code will never happen. That's why it's yeah, okay. So the Android Studio knows this thing. That's why it's happening. And yeah, we'll skip this part, and uh, we are going out of topic. Yeah. So we reached here, and we did not have log of reached here too. So that's how we can debug within IDE. And you can code search, visual programming, language support, and taking advantage of AI. So that is artificial intelligence. So this IDE has this IDE's developer has implemented few AI implementation that so that it would help us in coding better way. I mean, in better way. So let's say if this main activity is a type of app combat activity. This thing you will learn in Kotlin in Android Study Jams course. Uh, let's say, for example, one dot uh, one is a type of integer, and let's see what are the uh, methods we can perform on integer. So this IDE recognizes uh, the methods available for that kind of type. So using artificial intelligence, it would uh, quickly help us complete the code, and we'll move to next part, Android native basics. So actually, you know Android runs on Linux kernel, and to make Android app, we utilize Android SDK by Google. We have covered this one. Android Studio IDE is the official tool to make Android apps. So you have seen this Android Studio, and so apps can be written using Kotlin, Java, and C++, and Kotlin is the official language for that. And every major version of Android is identified with API levels. So this API levels, okay, one thing I forgot is Gradle files. So the difference between manifest file and Gradle file is the manifest file contains the blueprint of application, and Gradle files contain how the application is built. I mean, the application ID, the minimum SDK version. You see this SDK version, that is the API version we see here. So every Android version will have unique API version. So 21 means Android 5. Those things will be available in internet. So let's say Android 9 API version. Yeah. So it says it's 28. So our target version is 30. So if we search Android API version 30, uh, it is Android 11. So we are building the application for 11, Android 11, and minimum SDK should be 21. Uh, that is Android 5. So our application will support 25, from 25 to, I mean, Android 5 to Android 11, and these are version code. Version code is identified by Google Play. Let's say if you have updated, I mean, if you have solved few bugs and you have to push to Play Store again, and then you should change the version code from 1 to 2, so that Play Store will understand that you have built another app that should be pushed to users for update. and this is the version name shown to public. I mean, the users, they can see. Let's say it is 1.0 right now. So when they see while installing, the version will be displayed as 1.0, and within the dependencies you can install libraries like in C language we have uh, this stdio.h, and a few libraries, inbuilt libraries. But with Gradle you can import libraries from internet, uh, from remote server. Let's say uh, Android libraries. Yeah. So let's see best. Yeah, let's see retrofit. So yeah, Picasso. Picasso is a library to show images smoothly. Picasso Android library. Let's say this, and you see how to download. Yeah, it says Gradle implementation this line. So if we insert that line over here and we click sync now, that I mean this Picasso library will be imported to our project. So we will be able to utilize this library, and we can do uh, we can import them in the activity and we can utilize that. So that is what this Gradle files are for. And there are two build Gradle files. We will see how to use them, and uh, how to modify them according to our needs in the future sessions. Um, right. And we have seen this architecture basics, and then Android native versus Flutter and React native. Uh, yes, there are Flutter fans, right? Within you, there are so many people who are using Flutter, who are learning Flutter, uh, and you may say we are already doing Flutter, so why should we learn Android native? Is it any good for us? Yeah. So Flutter is a framework by Google, and Android native is the SDK provided by Google. So what's the difference? Means let's search Flutter. So it says it is an open source software development kit created by Google, and can be run on Android operating system. So how would this run? I mean, how will this work? Behind the scenes, the Flutter itself implements Android native. So, and if the if you are creating a Flutter project, there will be a part of Android native project which you are not managing, but it is managed by Flutter. So Flutter is managing Android native, right? So why would we manage them? So when you create apps which requires native facilities, like if you have to make an app which uses Wi-Fi or location or camera, uh, in a way you wanted. I mean, you can access Flutter, you can access those things using Flutter and React Native using libraries. But let's say you have to implement a custom feature, then you have to write native code, and then you can implement in Flutter. So that in that way, even if you are a Flutter developer, native learning a native Android code would be beneficial for you. And the difference is you see when building Flutter project and the Android native project is Android native project is official way. So and there is a huge community over there which would help you in every aspect, every issue you face, and that is the simplest way to make Android app. And uh, Android native uh, is this with Android native you will make the smallest APK uh, ever. I mean, with Flutter and React Native, those are external frameworks, right? So in order to run them, we have to package those libraries with APK itself. So the size of the app would be more. I mean, the size of the app will be bigger than. Uh, I mean, the size of the app built within Flutter and React Native will be bigger than the app built within Android Native. Uh, so even if you want to make customized extension or libraries to these frameworks, you would write Android native code. Okay, we have seen Hello World app, how to create it, and yes, we will go to Android study chats. Yeah. So if you go with the link, you'll see this Android study jams link. Uh, you click on it, and let's see what are these Android study jams course. So this is a curriculum given by Google. This thing we have already discussed, but there are two tracks. One is new to programming, and the second one is programming. Uh, for our community, the new to programming is best one. So let's click on that one. And the first thing we see is Android basics in Kotlin. So there are okay. You go with this link and you click on each unit. You will get chapters. So you explore those chapters. There will be videos provided by. There are videos in which experts from Google themselves will explain how these things work. Okay, uh, and then you after watching videos, you go to Code Lab. I mean, this Code Lab is also a service by Google. So you read these things, then you'll understand how uh, the library in Kotlin will be, and how the syntax of Kotlin will be. So you read and you go with the flow. So okay, and I have already completed these things, and after the code lab you take a quiz. Okay, uh, yeah. So after the quiz, let's say what is a program, and which is a keyword. So main function, curly braces. Yeah. Okay, it prints two lines, and so this is the one. Yeah. If we submit answers, so yeah, 6 out of 6. So you would move to next path. So you would complete these. You would complete these chapters so that you would understand how Kotlin works. I mean, you would understand how Kotlin works for Android, and you'd know the syntax of Kotlin, and the yeah, within this chapter you also has a video how to install Android Studio. I mean, download and install Android Studio, how to make your first app, how to run on your mobile, and you'll take the quiz. So this is the track. Mm, and let's go back again. Yeah. So after you complete these two units, after you complete these two units, you would be uh, having a bit of experience in making Android apps, right? And then you can move with this track prior programming experience. So if you are still not that experienced, I mean, if after even after completing this course, if you are not that familiar with Kotlin, you start Kotlin Koans and uh, you gain a bit of experience and start pair programming experience. So in this course, you would have Android Kotlin fundamentals, right? Uh, how to create layouts, how to use buttons, how to make lists, how to access. I mean, how to handle clicks, how to uh, navigate between pages. Uh, those things. After you complete, I mean, after you complete these two tracks, you would get a certificate, and yes, and for every chapter you complete, you would get a developer profile badge. Um, Let me show you my badges from tool developer profile. Yeah, so So these are the batches I have achieved. I mean, after completing these chapters, I have achieved these batches. So after completing in these two tracks, you would get a certificate uh, from Android Study Jams that you are eligible Android developer. Right? If you are still having any doubts, put it in chat box. Yeah, you can directly sign in with Google.
Okay, I guess that would be end of the study jam one. Uh, we have gone through the basics of like what is Kotlin from to the basics of Android Studio. Well, he went quite deep into it. In case you have any sorts of doubts about Android Studio, we'll be sharing some links wherein you can understand the architecture of Android Studio as well. And also, I would be sharing you one feedback form. Please fill it so that we could understand what we want to what to expect and how we could improve. Just a minute. Here is the link. Please fill the feedback form, and we'll get you soon. Because of the examinations of the second years and third years, we are planning out to take sessions in a differently order manner because I think there are exams for second years from 10th onwards till 19th. So maybe if the second years can start doing like start working on this after your examinations, and at this we are going to elaborate this program till Jan 25th. So it would be a kind of like dual type sessions wherein uh, we are going to take for second years and third years separately, or depending upon the discussion we may want to take it after Jan 4, that is completion of third year examinations. I'm getting okay, wait, I'll just um I guess you need to do it from the G Suite account. Try it from G Suite account, or else I'll share it in the Discord group too. Now I guess you can do it. Now with any other mail also you can do it. Okay, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your uh, time and consideration.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, sir.
We have kind of made it like more of a practical session than going on into theory. It might be new to some of us that about many other technical terms included in this talk. For all that, please to ask us. We are free to like we are open to clarify any sort of small to big doubts. There is nothing about it. You can directly ping us on Discord channel Android Development, and we'll clarify all your doubts. Yeah, you can fill it with personal mail.